Taking care of the pets for many people is like taking care of a child. You always have to be on the lookout for signs that they may not be as healthy or feeling as well as they should. Dr. Danielle Spencer-David is back with us today to address an issue that cat owners need to be aware of. Good morning, doctor. Good to see you again.
Good morning. You too.
This is a new year, and
Yes.
when we're all out getting our health checkups for the new year, it's also probably a good idea to do it for our pets as well.
Absolutely. You want to do that yearly check, if for nothing else, to get vaccinations, but also just to make sure teeth are healthy, the skin coat looks good, the eyes. Definitely want to do it at least once a year.
Mm-hmm. And today you want to talk about feline lower urinary tract disease. What is that?
Yes, it's actually probably the most common disease that cats face because, they have such a stressful life. However,
to be a cat.
Yeah, and also sometimes diet can play a role in these sorts of things. A lot of people feed them all different types of diets, and that's one of the reasons why they are predisposed to getting lower urinary tract disease. But it could have several factors. As I said, diet, it could be just the anatomic configuration of a male cat versus a female. They could have scar tissue, little tissue plugs. So there are quite a few things that can contribute to that.
So who's more predisposed to it? Male cats, female cats, kittens, older cats?
Male cats, and actually we do see it more with the younger cats in terms of an infection. But the male cats in particular, they have a very narrow urethra and it's very long. So they are more predisposed than female cats.
So as a cat owner, or actually one who is owned by a cat,
Exactly.
What should we be looking out for?
Well, the first sign that we see is they're straining in the box. They're in the box for quite a long time. Sometimes nothing comes out. Occasionally blood can come out. It's definitely possible. Meowing super loud in the litter box. Also just frequent trips to the litter box. Those are probably the most common signs that we see.
And that's probably a good point to bring up too. When we're cleaning out the litter box, we're probably just cleaning it, but there are signs there and clues to our cat's health.
Right, absolutely. And and it also could be with fecal health as well. But with cats, they very often will have just spotty urine, even leading up to the litter box. And also urinating inappropriately, so maybe it's on your bed as opposed to in the litter box because they're so well trained. So that would be something you'd want to look out for. And in terms of if they get an infection, that's, really great. You could take them to the vet, tell them the symptoms, they check the urine sample, and many times they'll put them on antibiotics and see how they do in about a week. However, if they don't respond, then we get more aggressive in terms of, taking x-rays, especially in a male cat. We're particularly concerned because they can completely block and be unable to urinate, and that is actually an emergency.
Oh, so how potentially dangerous, aside from this emergency situation, is this for the cat? Are they in a lot of pain?
Very painful. As a matter of fact, they are meowing constantly. And also just the fact that there are little particles sometimes in the urine, and that's really irritating, to their urethra. So it is something that if you see any of those signs, you want to take them, as soon as you can to the vet.
And you talk about blockage. Can they get like kidney stones, bladder stones, something like that from this as well?
Yes, so, and that's another thing. With male cats in particular, they can have a block because if any crystals accumulate in their little urethra, it makes them unable to urinate. In that case, it's an emergency and the vet can unblock them. You definitely want to get them in relatively quickly for that. And it can be as a result of just blockage from crystals. However, it could also be related to stones in the bladder. So that would be something an x-ray would definitely definitively tell you.
So what about treatment?
Treatment, and it varies again. Very often, antibiotics based on a culture will help a simple urinary tract infection. However, if it's related to stones in the bladder, that's a surgical complication. And then also if it's related to crystals in the urethra, in terms of them getting blocked, they can place a catheter and they're in the hospital usually for a night or two.
Well, we don't want our cats to be in any kind of pain, so
No.
what about prevention? How can we keep this from happening?
Well, many times what we want to do is kind of increase the water consumption of pets so that their food isn't so concentrated. Occasionally they'll recommend some wet food, certainly having multiple water bowls around the house so that they are kind of trained to drink a lot more water. And also it could depend on the type of cat food. Especially if they're predisposed, we may recommend a certain diet for them in particular.
Well, some good advice today for cat lovers. Thank you, doctor.
No problem.
Good to see you.
Great.
We'll see you soon.
Okay.